This Sunday, I introduced the Jubilee Year to our congregation. I just want to summarize what I said in my homily today. I mentioned the history of the Jubilee. Now, every 25 years in our church. It used to be more than that. It goes back to the book of Leviticus, and that we now celebrate it every 25 years. The first point I wanted to make was that the Jubilee is a year of blessing and graces. We're going to mention things that we can do, but even before that, we think about what God does. In the Jubilee year, God comes close to us. God is near to us, and God invites us to come to Him in this beautiful Jubilee year of hope that St. Francis has designated. And I mentioned 5 different possible actions we can do during our Jubilee year, not in any special order. The first was I called a call to reconciliation. The Jubilee year is a time to be reconciled. And in our world today, there is so much division. There's divisions in families, in communities, in neighborhoods, even among nations, unfortunately, as we see. And the Jubilee is a beautiful invitation to be reconciled. So if there's someone that you are at odds with, family member, neighbor, anybody else, during this year is a time to be reconciled. The beautiful offer of reconciliation during this year. The second thing I mentioned was a renewal of our appreciation of the sacraments, especially the sacrament of the Eucharist and of reconciliation. Although the latter sacrament has fallen into disuse in the last number of years, this will be a beautiful time to take advantage and to celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation with all the strength and grace that that brings. And of course, to be faithful to our Eucharistic participation, to take part, if possible, in adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, but to rediscover the power of the sacraments, especially those 2 sacraments. That also is a call of the Jubilee. Thirdly, I mentioned that the Jubilee reminds us of our call to the works of mercy. We are indeed called to them every day of every year, but especially now we hear the call to feed the hungry, to give drink to the thirsty, to visit the sick, to take care of those in prison, to give encouragement and hope to those who are in need of it. The corporal and spiritual works of mercy. The Jubilee year is a time for us to recognize their importance and to do our best to respond to them. Fourthly, the Jubilee year often offers the possibility of a pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is when we go to a sacred site to receive God's special blessing and presence there. Now, most of us will not be able to go to Rome or Fatima or Lourdes, but there will be places in our diocese. As a matter of fact, there's one next door in Lourdes, the Lourdes Grotto. But if you get a chance as an individual or as a group, go on the pilgrimage. After all, the theme is a pilgrimage of hope. And if you get a chance to take part in the pilgrimage, then so do. And finally, we are called this year to the task of evangelization, to bringing people to the Lord, to bringing people probably back to church. We know that there are so many who no longer come to church, especially our young people. We don't see them. This is a time in a gentle, not a harsh way, but a gentle way to invite our neighbors, our families, our friends. If someone needs a ride, to offer a ride to church, and to encourage people by what we do and how we act. This is the Jubilee year, a time of God's blessing. We are all pilgrims. We are all pilgrims of hope. We are on our way to heaven, all of us, please God. Pope Francis, in his closing words announcing this year, said the following: "We must fan the flame of hope that has been given to us and help everyone to gain new strength and certainty by looking to the future with an open spirit, a trusting heart, and a far-sighted vision. Through our witness, may hope spread to all those who anxiously seek it." So I ask God's blessing upon all of you during this year. And I pray that we will find some ways to take part in the different events of the Jubilee, and especially journey together as pilgrimage to the home of heaven, and with God's help, experience hope and peace and love and a renewal in faith during this coming year. May God bless us during this year.